junior year, like preparation for confirmation. So what'll end up happening is you're gonna end up being in, thank you, you'll be in like, put in different small groups over the course of the summer. And then you'll be with that small group all of next year. And God willing, next year should be like a little bit more of a normal year, right? That's the hopes anyways. And then that's just like the really diving deep into preparing for confirmation, okay? So just really quickly, just as a recap, who here can like say anything about what confirmation is? Like, what's the purpose of confirmation? Give me your first name. Jeremy. Jeremy, what's the purpose of confirmation?
It's where you get confirmed.
Okay, you get confirmed for what purpose? Okay, that's okay. I'm not seeing with the masks on. Who is that right there? Yes.
Gabby.
Gabby. Okay.
It's kind of so you can like lead other people to God.
Okay. So that's like the primary thing that confirmation is. Really good. It's primarily to lead others to God. Okay. So confirmation, you are renewing your own faith. You're taking your own faith deeper. But the whole purpose of confirmation is really bringing like this hope to other people, okay? And baptism is more for you personally. Confirmation is supposed to be more about you bringing other people to heaven, whether that be your future spouse, your future children, your future roommates, your future teammates, future friends. Okay, the goal is to bring everyone to heaven, okay? And again, the whole purpose of like, what do we do for this preparation for confirmation? It's not so much for you to like learn your own faith, although that's important. It's for you to be able to learn it to a level that you can actually express it to somebody else, okay? So that when you do have an atheist friend who's just really like, just trying to figure out why do you believe in what you believe, and like you being able to in any way articulate that, okay, to help bring somebody else to heaven. So that's our number one goal on earth, is to get to heaven and to help other people get there. And confirmation is all about like this helping other people to get there. Tonight's session specifically is an introduction to discipleship, okay? What is discipleship? So give me your first name. Gabby, so we got two Gabbies in a row, okay? Gabby, what in your mind is discipleship?
People who like follow God and Jesus.
Okay, so it's disciple, like more in general, is specifically following somebody, like it's closely following them, all right? Disciple was a very common term within the Jewish custom back around when Jesus walked the earth, okay? So a disciple was somebody who would follow a rabbi and follow them so closely that like they learned their yoke, okay? The yoke is the teaching of the rabbi, okay? So when it means to carry your rabbi's yoke, that is to carry his teaching, okay? That you learn it so well that you are his protege. You are the one who brings that forward to a lot of other people in the world, okay? So that's what it means to be a disciple. Specifically, we only think of it for Jesus now, so that's the ultimate disciple, is to follow Jesus so closely that you carry his yoke. And he says, for my yoke is easy and my burden light, okay? And I would hear that and I'd be like, okay, like, I don't know that I believe that or I agree with that, okay? Like, just because you become a Christian, life doesn't get easier, okay? Like, I don't know if anybody has experienced that, but that has not been my experience, okay? Life just doesn't get easier because you're a Christian, okay? And I remember months ago when I shared a little bit of my own story, some of the struggles that Michelle and I went through in adopting children, and like a lot of the stuff that came out of that, I just slightly touched on, but like there was a lot of struggles that we went through in our life, just a ton, okay? But it's not that like knowing Jesus and following Jesus makes everything like sunshine and roses, and everything's just perfect now. It's that it gives you hope, and it gives you purpose, and it gives you meaning, and it gives you strength, okay? And I found a lot of strength in it, okay? So tonight we're just gonna dive a little bit deeper into what it means to be a disciple. There's a clip from this series. This series called The Chosen, and it is where Jesus calls Simon Peter, okay? And so I like this series because it gives it gives some creative license for the writers of this to come up with backstories, okay? So the best analogy I could use, although it's not a really good one, is like Star Wars, okay? When you see the first films, and then you see some of the post films, like Solo. I don't know that George Lucas had all this background that came out in the movie Solo. If any of you guys have seen that, it was just a movie about Han Solo and everything that happened in his life leading up to him in the Star Wars series, okay? That's kind of the way this works, where they give backstory to some of the Bible stories. They're not in the Bible, it's just creative license. It could have happened this way, maybe it didn't, but the scripture doesn't say one or the other. So this gives some really cool backstory. But Simon Peter in this series is, he is really struggling financially for his family right now, okay? And so he's doing anything he can to raise money. For a little bit, he was actually fighting. So he would do street fights for money, and he's a fighter, and so they would kind of rig it where he would pretend like he was getting beat up and let the other guy win for a while. People would continue to place bets, and then he'd turn around and win the match, okay? And he has been so far in debt that he's been fishing on the Sabbath day, okay, which is a big no-no within the true Jewish tradition. His wife has been getting super upset because he hasn't been there for what would be the Jewish the meal on Shabbat. So he hasn't been showing up for that, and so she doesn't know what he's been doing, if he's cheating on her or whatever. But he's actually been sneaking out and fishing on Sunday nights, which is against their faith, okay? And he made a little deal within this series, not in the scriptures, but he made a little deal with the Romans that he would turn in other people that were fishing on Shabbat, because you don't have to pay taxes anything you catch on Sundays, because the Roman post was not open and they weren't supposed to be fishing. So he kind of made a deal with the devil that he would turn in anyone that was fishing, okay? And so all of a sudden, everything is caving in on him. Nothing has worked out. He's going to probably go to prison for a good period of time, and he's going to lose everything, okay? And that's where the story picks up right here.
Simon, it's been a month since you have visited Ima.
You know how it's been work, and I know I haven't been a good... Please listen to me. I haven't been honest with you.
What do you mean?
I've been fishing on Shabbat because I've had no choice. Andrew has text-its. I've got text-its. We haven't been able to keep up. I did some things I'm not proud of to fix it, and now it's gone bad. And we're in trouble.
We? What do you mean?
I'm in trouble. But we, because I need a miracle, or I can be in big trouble. We could lose the house.
What?
If I don't catch a ton of fish or get some help somehow, they'll arrest me. Yeah, so I need to go
Go
now.
where?
To fish. I gotta spend the rest of the week doing nothing but catch every fish I can and hope I can fix this somehow.
But no more talking. Maybe God can get your attention now.
Andrew shows up and he's like, we're saved. And Peter's like, Simon's like, what are you talking about? We're saved. We're saved. He goes, I saw him. You saw who? I saw the Christ. I saw the Messiah. And he's like, John pointed him out. Like, it was him. It's the Messiah. He goes, we don't have to worry about it. He's like, Andrew, I don't want to talk about this right now. He's like, don't you get it? Like, we're saved. Like, you don't have to worry about all this stuff. All this other stuff doesn't matter. Like, the promised Messiah has come, okay? And you guys, this is you and I. We are so wrapped up in our daily lives, okay, that we're like, I don't want to hear this right now. Like, I got to take care of what's going on right now. I've got, like, a team that I'm trying to make, like, to actually make the team. I've got this AP class. I'm trying to get into this college. These are things I got to do right now. And, like, then you come to these meetings where, like, the most important thing in your life is Jesus. And you're like, okay, yeah. Like, but I got all this other stuff going on. And he's, like so distracted. And then at one point, he says, excuse me, Andrew, if I don't get, like, excited because Creepy John pointed somebody out. He calls John the Baptist Creepy John because he's out in the wilderness. Now he's out there fishing by himself, okay? And has a pretty frustrating night. This is actual scripture.
Andrew? James and John, I presume. And who brought the old man?
I heard you need a real fisherman. Well, there are only so many hours in the night, huh? Let's fish.
Zeb! Come around.
Sometimes the sea bests all of us. Like your night.
Simon, it's him.
Excuse me.
That's him. Simon, that's him.
No time for this, Andrew.
It's him. Simon, it's the man. John said he's here. Right now.
May I ask a favor? I'm teaching these people, and apparently they're having trouble hearing me. If I could stand on your boat, that would be helpful.
They're having trouble hearing you, huh?
Yes, yes, of course. Please, stand on our boat. Thank you.
I need to go. I'm sorry. No time for this today.
Stay a few moments longer. I have something for you.
For me? I'm in a hurry.
Yes, I know. Just allow me a few moments. I'm Jesus. Thanks for this.
Simon.
In my last moments with you, I want to share another story. Because I'm on this boat, my final parable should be about fishing, yes? Simon, please send me that net. This net gathers fish. All kinds of fish, yes?
Yes.
All kinds of fish. And the kingdom of heaven is like what happens next. After the net is full, Simon and the others draw it to the shore, sit down, and sort out the fish. The good fish go into the barrels, the bad fish thrown away. So it will be at the end of the age. Angels will come and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them into a fiery furnace. Do you understand? These parables I tell make sense to some, not to others. Be patient. That is all for today. I have some business to attend to with my new friend. Put that down for a catch. A little farther out.
I don't have a quarrel with you, teacher. We've been doing this all night. Nothing. All right. At your word.
Simon! I told you! I told you! I told you!
The boat, it's still
Get out! Get out!
my brother and the baptizer. You are the Lamb of God, yes?
I am.
Depart from me. I am a sinful man. You don't know who I am and the things I've done.
Don't be afraid, Simon.
I'm sorry. We've waited for you for so long, we believe. But my faith, I'm sorry.
Lift up your head, fisherman.
What do you want from me? Anything you ask, I will do.
Follow me. Fish are nothing. You have much bigger things ahead of you, Simon, son of Jonah. Did you understand that parable I told earlier? From now on, I will make you fishers of men, and you are to gather as many as possible, all kinds. I will sort them out later.
As though Jesus is coming back. But like, if Jesus were just to show up tomorrow, like where is my life at? Where's your life at? And he just asked that question, like, come follow me. Like, what do we do with that? And that's really what the goal of our life is. The goal of our life is to actually follow him, to follow wherever it is that he's calling us. The number one thing he's calling us to is this vocation to love. Like, we're supposed to love like he loves. Love everybody. We're also supposed to look to him to find what love really is. Love isn't just being nice. Like, love is willing the good of the other, like purely for the other, okay? And so, like, he's calling each of us in, like, how do we respond to that, you know? So, what I want you to do is just, like, literally 3 people, maybe 4, okay, but no more than 4, and keep, like, your distance. Just flip your chairs around. I just want you guys to, like, just share a little bit about, like, are you following him? In what ways are you, in what ways are you not? Okay? And, like, has your faith changed in any way over the course of just the last few months? Like, have you made any more effort? Has Lent been something where you've been trying it all? Like, has anything deepened at all? Like, because this is just a checkup from the neck up, okay? And what we have, like, a lot of Lent left, and here's an opportunity to kind of, like, take a look at where we're at, take a look at really what we've been doing, and readjust and say, okay, I need to do more, because he really is asking each of us personally, like, come follow me. What does that mean? So I want you to just talk a little bit about in what ways do you feel like maybe you've been doing that a little bit, and in what ways not? And then where are you at right now? And where are you at compared to where you were just like 3-4 months ago? Okay, so 3 to maybe 4 people. Ready to go. And, you know, this is going to sound super theological, but, like, it's to accept him as your Lord. It's to accept him that, like, he wasn't just a nice man. He wasn't somebody that just had great ideas that, like, just shows us how to live, okay? Like, he was either, and this goes into a whole different subject, we're not going to dive into it tonight, but he was either the greatest liar who ever lived, or he was an absolute lunatic, or he was actually God. There's no in between. He can't be a nice man. He can't be somebody that just, like, gives us a way to live. Like, he's calling on yes?
Could he be a wizard?
No. Because he declared himself as God. He declared himself as God. So either he's the greatest liar who ever lived, or he's a lunatic and believes he's God, but he's not. Or he is who he says he is. He can't just be a prophet. He can't be a magician. He can't be, like, anything other than either he is who he says he is, or he knowingly lied about it, or he's insane. Okay, yes?
I have a question. Like, people who are, like, Jewish or whatever, like, they believe that he's just, like, a prophet, but he declared him, like, he, like, said he's God and stuff, and, like, I feel like that's something that, like, if they were to think he was lying about that or whatever,
Right.
that's such an important thing to lie about. Like, how could you, like, like him?
Right,
You know,
yeah.
like, I don't understand.
Yeah, so, you know, even, like, the historicity of Jesus, right? You know, so you'll have some atheists be like, well, we don't even know whether Jesus actually, you know. If there was any people on the planet that would say Jesus is just a story, it would be the Jews. And they don't say that. And there's more written about him from the time of antiquity than anyone in world history. More than any Caesar. Like, and they're not only, like, sources that believe in his divinity, but what we call hostile sources. Sources that wrote about him from that time period, but did not believe in his divinity. What's interesting is all the hostile sources share 4 things in common. Number 1, he had huge crowds. Number 2, he did really sweet magic tricks. Okay? Number 3, he was killed for declaring himself divine. And number 4, his tomb was found empty. Now, the hostile sources that say that they believe somebody stole his body, okay? But we know that he did some kind of like sweet tricks. Tons of people followed him, and he got killed for claiming divinity, and his tomb was empty. Those are the 4 facts from people that believe and don't believe, okay? And then it just begs the question, who is Jesus, right? It changes everything, guys. And when he asks us to come follow him, he's not saying, I want you just to be a nice person. He's saying, I want you to love with my love, and the only way to heaven is through me. So follow me. And he's saying, not only you follow me, but if you listen to what I'm saying, have other people follow me. So an atheist was doing a debate with a Christian that I actually really enjoy this guy doing debates, okay? He's just really good, super logical. And this Christian guy had a conversation with the atheist, and the atheist said to him, he goes, I respect you because you're the only Christian or Catholic that's ever made an effort to convert me. He goes, everyone else just automatically assumes I would have none of it. And he goes, and if Christians really believe what they say they believe, then they're the cruelest people I've ever met. Because if they either A, don't believe in what they say they believe, or B, they're the cruelest people I've ever met. Because if you really believed that the way to heaven is through Jesus, why wouldn't we share that with other people? So a friend of mine, his mother-in-law, my friend's wife's mom, was dying. And she was super into New Age. And she was on her deathbed, and she was talking about how very soon she will be one with the spirit world, and she'll be like one with the universe. And so my friend's mother was visiting her in the hospital on her deathbed and felt very convicted in a dream that she needed to go and spend this time with her, okay? And so she goes in and she says to her, listen to me, listen. She said, you are dying. She goes, and I love you. And I would be so remiss if I didn't share this. Like, you talk about the spirit world and being one with the universe, and she goes, there is a man, Jesus, who was God's only son, that came to save you. She goes, and if you don't, listen to me right now, I'm afraid that I'll never see you again. And I just think of the courage that it took. Now, what's the right way to approach that? How uncomfortable is that, right? But on a deathbed, sharing this message of hope with the other person. There's a true story from back in World War II where there was a mole within the Japanese military and there was a mole within the US military, both infiltrating, okay? Well, what ended up happening is both of them ended up in a Japanese concentration camp. True story, this Japanese guy was tortured brutally every day until they could figure out exactly what he told the Americans, okay? The American was actually treated much better than the Japanese was. They were both sentenced for execution, but the Japanese guy was tortured over and over again. And the American would actually save a portion of his food to give to this Japanese gentleman. And he would come back often unconscious. And when he came to, the American had saved him some food and would actually tend to his wounds. And one day the American overheard the guards, and he knew Japanese, and they were saying that they were pretty sure they got all the information out of this Japanese guy. One more day and he's going to be executed tomorrow. And so, this American then like when the guy comes back to the prison, he says, I need to talk to you. I have not been fully honest with you. And he's like, what? And he starts sharing with him that you're gonna die tomorrow. I found this out. And he goes, I believe that God is not only real, but that he became one of us. And he tells him a short story of Jesus. And he says, if you will just believe in him and ask him to forgive you of your sins, even though I know you don't understand all of this, but like, I believe in his mercy. If you just ask for that, he goes, like, you'll live forever. And the Japanese guy, again, true story, said, if this Jesus is anything like you, I will believe. I will believe. It was his love that like converted this man's heart. It was the fact that he reached out to him like in the darkest time and just was there for him that convinced this man that there is something beyond human here. There is something beautiful here that I want. And that's what it means to be a disciple, is for people to like just want what you have. And like, we have to grasp onto it ourselves, right? So this is a story of Dorothy Day. Dorothy Day was super strong into social justice, taking care of the poor, bringing justice to our world. She worked pretty closely with a guy who was actually a socialist communist, and so like initially she was an activist. She was super huge into women's liberation. She like was in lots of like various marches, political marches. She was just super strong activist, okay? Her background is a pretty wild one. She actually had an abortion when she was younger and was very pro-choice for a period of time. And then, like through like working with the poor and feeding the poor and taking care of the poor, God actually transformed her heart, okay? And she has become one of the great patriarchs within, or matriarchs within the United States, okay? So she really took care of the poor during the whole Industrial Revolution here in the United States. She would visit people in prison, and she just had this huge conversion. And so they have this paper, and they have this idea they're going to change the world. They're going to change people's minds. And Jesus is like, I want their hearts. It's not about political activism. It's not about all of these other things. Like, it is about love first and foremost. So what ends up happening in this scene is one of the girls whom she has cared for and loved has a drug addiction. And she ends up stealing from her, okay? And this is where she had a huge conversion in her own life. So her whole group, she's been like using all of this money to buy food, to feed the poor, and the rest of the people she's with are getting super upset. Because they're like, you know, we raised all of this money so we could have a paper that could make a difference, that could change the world, that could like change people's minds, that could make a difference in people's political choices as well, okay? And you're taking all of this money for a sack of potatoes and for like taking care of people that we are not equipped to take care of. Like there's been fights, a person actually died about a week before this scene within one of her centers, okay? And this was a huge conversion moment for her. So the group basically boycotts her and says that she's kind of, they're not going to help her anymore. A fling with that she ended up getting pregnant, and then he paid for an abortion. And then shortly after that, she had somewhat of a mini conversion where she started like really working with the poor, and she felt calling in prayer to work with the poor. And so he gave her a bunch of money, and he said, hang on to this. If this doesn't work out, I want you to come back to Seattle or wherever it was, okay? So she had that money, and this is where she's saying to Jesus, I'm not who you thought I was.
Dorothy, we're having a meeting, and we'd like you to come.
Where's Peter?
He should be here.
We already took a vote. He wouldn't make a difference anyway.
What did we vote for?
A woman died here tonight. There were 3 fights last week. That mental patient
We joined the Catholic Worker because we wanted to change the world. And what are we doing? We're running a flop house.
It's just that we're not equipped to handle all this, Dorothy.
And there's never enough money for the paper. It goes to fix toilets, or for the heat, or for some derelict's medical bill, or for 100 pounds of potatoes for the soup line. Dorothy, we now have 150,000 subscribers. We could have a real impact, change things, if we could do it right.
The Catholic Worker is about people caring for people. How am I to tell others to love the poor if I am not willing to do it myself?
My. We are the Catholic Worker. The people in this room, we are what makes it work, not just you. We're tired of your dictates, your arrogance, your ego. My God, your own daughter doesn't even have a bed to sleep in. Or
You'll leave Pomona out of this!
No, it's enough! We're not gonna do it anymore. We're not. No more drunks, no more bedbugs, no more fistfights, no more prostitutes, and no more mental patients. We're not gonna do it anymore.
Is that how you all feel?
It was unanimous.